Welcome, gang. Before we get started, this is the AIM movement class for the week, for this week. Have a little water beside you for some light hydration, and make sure that your nasal passages are clear. I start every single class, whether I'm with you guys or anybody else, the same. We're going to breathe through our nose as much as we possibly can. We're designed to breathe through our nose, and that's what we want to take advantage of. And if your nose is all plugged up, congested, it's going to be a bit of a challenge to do so. So go off camera, take a moment, blow some tissue, blow the nose out, clean it all out, and then we'll get set to go. Here's a kind of interesting thing. I don't know whether you guys know this. When you're breathing through the nasal passages, we think that air, the amount of volume of just air coming in, is equal. And in fact, it's not. It's equal until it gets to the just to the tip and then it starts to go in. And we have a bunch of these like flappers and levers inside our nasal passages that our brain starts to then control which parts of the brain and body getting different oxygenation just based on this flapping of the stuff inside. So it's really kind of cool. All right, now last week we touched on the concepts of rooting and grounding into the floor. So like in this case, the floor, whether you're outside, it's the ground obviously, but here we're just on the floor surface. And I showed you a bit of a video. So if you haven't seen it, go back, watch it, and you'll see what we're talking about in terms of how to activate the bottoms of your feet to try and get working with this concept of rooting down. So you are firmly planted into the surface. And then that way energy can flow in two directions. It flows down as you create more energy, and then it'll resist and then send that energy right back into your body. And that is what gives you that ultimate strength of being able to move your body in such a way that you can swing a club or anything else that you want to do. It's super functional. All right, to get started, we're going to spend about 10 minutes or so, just some easy light body movements, just to get us started. So if all that nose stuff is done, we're going to stand up nice and tall. Have your arms by your side. This is called controlled articulating rotations, CARS for short. All right, we're just going to stay here for a moment. And I'd like you to just rock your body weight side to side and roll off your feet. So you're rolling off the surface of the feet. So we think about this as losing, or not losing, but leaking some power, if you will, from the bottoms of the foot. I'm just releasing some power here. And I'm going to come back through the middle, and I'm going to lift my heels up, get up on the toes, drop the heels, and then lift the toes up. Now, lift your heels and notice if the heels come up straight or if they start to flare out. We want to keep those heels as close as we can, and then down and lift the toes up. So if this is already like a problem area where you can't control, I can't really see you guys, and it doesn't really matter, so I just kind of speak to this. It's very general. It happens to me as well. I'm going to turn around and show you. As soon as I lift my heels, they start to flare out. I don't have all that strength maybe that I want in more towards the front of the toes. A great way to do this actually is to put a tennis ball in between your heels and then lift up and down with the tennis ball in between your heels. It's a very good exercise to do. Okay, good stuff. Now you're just going to sit or stand nice and tall, press onto the floor, have your arms down, and the palms just turn a little bit face forward. Now just breathe, and I'm going to take a couple moments to get connected with our breathing. So breathe in through your nose, nice big breath coming in. Hold, and you can open your mouth if you like to exhale, but try and just maintain, excuse me, some nasal breathing for now. Yeah, breathe in through your nose. Try and keep your chest calm when you breathe, so you're breathing deep more into this abdominal space. And this will engage, get the diaphragm inside there moving. The breathing action, the secondary action is rib movement. The first action is this diaphragm moving. All right, nice big breath in and out. Good stuff, you guys. Bend your knees slightly so you press down into that floor, nice and solid here. All right, now I'm going to turn my head to the right side, go as far as you can go. Nice big stretch here on the left side. Come back to center, turn your head to the other side, and really stretch it out, keep your shoulders down. Come back to center, hold there, lift up, lift your head up and look up. And then look forward and down. Tuck your chin into your chest. Then when you're down there, turn the head a little to the left, turn the head a little to the right, but keep your chin tucked in. Go left, go right, go left, and go right. Come back to center. Now lift your shoulders up to the earlobes. Tuck your head down. Get really crunched up here. Tight, 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 tight. Now breathe into your belly. Nice big breath. Right into the belly, and on the exhale, lower your shoulders down. Now you're going to keep your shoulders away from the earlobes. This time, turn your head to that left side as far as you can go. Drop your ear to the shoulder, peek up at the ceiling, and go all the way to the other side to do a half-speed head circle. Arms down, shoulders down, look all the way, and then go to look down and chin across the chest again. And I do this head circle in a very slow movement. And I'll do it about 3 times or so. This is really good if you happen to carry tension in your neck. This will loosen a whole bunch of that stuff. And I'll come back to the center. Okay, now turn your head to the right side. Okay, so the head turns to the right. As far as you can go, keep those shoulders down. Now drop the ear to shoulder as you peek up. Really exaggerate the circle movement as you go. Look up and go all the way to the left side. And then you look down, drag your chin across your chest, do slow circular movement, go all the way, other side. And I do it again. And one last one. And back to center position. All right, stand straight, look straight, but drop the ear to shoulder on the one side. Come back to center. Drop the ear to the shoulder on the other side. Keep looking up. Come back. Now this time you're going to extend the arms off to the side. Make a fist so that you're pressing the elbows straight. Turn the, or not turn, but drop the left ear to left shoulder. Look up. Take the right arm behind you and look down. Come back to neutral, take that arm back into neutral position, good stuff. And this time you're going to drop the right ear to the right shoulder, look up. Take the left arm back a little bit. And then look down to the floor. Keep that stretch. Come back to neutral and center position. Woo! Okay, that should feel pretty good. You can do that anytime and as many times. If you're on a computer a lot and you're down like this a lot, this is a great way to read. If you have tension headaches, this stuff gets rid of tension headaches. It's really, really good. All right, arms straight, and I'm going to lift the shoulders up here. Again, lift, 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 tuck, crunch it in, take a big breath, and lower down. Now lift the arms up. Let's just move slowly through your fingers, a little finger articulation here, nice and slow, a little like snake-like, not even, more like Spidey-like. Nice slow movements, in, out with the thumbs, make a fist. Now make 2 fists and then do some circles, rotation. I'm really isolating the wrists only, so nothing else happening, just wrist action. The concepts here, when we're moving through these types of movement classes or programming, if you will, not so much a class, but program, the isolation, activation, and integration is key component of all this stuff. Bring your hands together, drop your elbows together, okay? Into the body. Now let's do some circles. Keep your palms touching. Adjust the grip so it's equal as much as you can, and then do a circle of any kind. And do it slowly so you tap into your range of motion. And then I'm going to make it a little bit bigger and get the elbows in, and still trying to create a fluid-like motion. If you notice, I'm not going fast. I don't need to go fast. I want to control this action, not use gravity or momentum, if you will. Not gravity, but more momentum. Okay, now I'm going to go in the other direction. And I'm trying to make this as fluid as I possibly can. And this is all really good for isolating body parts and even becoming more aware of them. Okay, let's move into some further funky stuff here with the arms. Take your hands or your arms up, turn the hands to face this way. You guys have, everyone's done this. You're going to put your hands this way and then bring them through. Try and straighten the arms as much as you can, and then back the other way. Let's do that a few times, just slowly. I have arthritic shoulders and I do this, and it's very challenging for me to do, but I do it very slowly, and I want to keep this range of motion happening and not lose it. Okay, stop, and then just move the fingers in the other way. Or here, sorry, the other way. Take this way. There we go. And I'm going to do it again and see what that feels like, because you may have a different range of motion when you clasp the fingers and hands the other way. Yeah, very slowly. Now you can even go to an end range of motion. Hold there. And from here, I'm trying to create that energetic extension, just moving a little bit more into range of motion, but not overdoing it. Then you come back and then you straighten it out and then release it and let it go. Okay, so I feel that quite a bit actually into my rusty shoulder, but that is something I do quite often. Okay, you're gonna lift the arms up, and now we're gonna bend the elbows. Now what we wanna do is just move the upper arm here through the rotator cuff. So you're going to press the hands as if you're pressing down onto something. Try not to do this, just keep the hands straight in line with the forearm, and then down as far as you can go, and then you're going to open. Try not to extend the rib cage or the spine. Just move through that rotator cuff. Do it slowly. Open. Lots of great shoulder stuff here. I'm going to do a little bit more. Okay, and let go. Shake that out a little bit. Okay, I want to show you just a little bit of a thing you can test on yourself about shoulder mobility with the intention of keeping our arms off of our body as much as we can. Lift the right arm up. Try and get the arm behind your head, so like not on top of your head, but behind, and touch the top of the left shoulder. So you reach up and over, try and touch the top of the left shoulder. The left arm is going to go behind you, and you're going to try and touch the top of the right shoulder blade here by still keeping your hands off of your body, or noticing if they are there, if you're crunching or any of that kind of funky stuff is going on. Okay, then release. Now let's do the other side. Left arm up. So the arm is straight. Then I bend at the elbow. I'm just going to back up so you can see me a little bit. There we go. And notice what's happening. I'm kind of doing this. My arm is on my head. All the stuff I don't want to do. So I'm going to try and take the arm back, then tip here, a little touch. And then this side, I'm going to try and go back. And there's no way I can do it. This is my rusty shoulder, so I can't even do that movement. So this is how we can kind of test shoulder mobility and work with it. Now, the other thing we can do as well, I don't have one with me, but sometimes in this position, we can hold a strap here and floss this movement out. Or maybe you can bring your fingers to clasp together. I can't do it, so that's why I use a towel. I just don't have that shoulder mobility, but it's absolutely crucial that we have as much movement into the shoulders as we possibly can, independent of the rib cage. Okay, good stuff. One sec, guys, a little sip. I'm just dry where I am today. So I always have to hydrate. All right, good for the shoulders. Now we're just going to move through the spine a little bit. And here's what we're going to do. Simply lean forward. I'm going to lean forward at the hip crease. I'm going to control my body weight. I'm going to start to roll the arms forward, tuck the head down, get into like a really heavy type of ragdoll position, and slowly lower down, chin to chest. Work your way all the way down. Stretch it out. Touch the floor. with your fingers. Oops. Earbuds. Come on back up again. Okay, I'm just going to check my sound here because my ear pods fell off. Okay, I'm good. We're going to repeat that a few times. You want to be firmly grounded into that floor and at that hip crease. Come on down, control your weight, and then touch your fingers and slowly come up. Okay, we're going to test a little bit of the placement of, the weight into our feet. Now, Brendan, you see this a lot on the pad where you can see the actual placement of weight, whether it's into the front of the foot. So when you're testing with that pad, I don't remember the name of the pad.
It's the V1 pressure, the pressure mat. The pressure mat,
yeah, the pressure mat. So the pressure mat, you can actually see on your screen where someone is putting more weight into their foot, right? So that's happening, right? Okay, so what we're going to do here is just test a little bit of that weight movement, and a really good way to do it is by actually leaning forward. So here's what I'm going to do at first, and we're going to play with this a little bit. You're going to start to lean forward and put more weight into your toes. I'm going to go to the side here a bit, okay? So I'm going to lean forward, put weight into toes, and see what that feels like, because now my heels are getting light. I'm actually feeling like I'm going to tip over, but my core is pretty strong, so it will protect me from falling over. So my toes are white here because I'm pushing into that floor. And I'm going to touch the floor and then slowly come up, still all the weight into the toes. Okay. Now what I'm going to try and do is something different. The same body movement, upper coming down, but I'm going to try and put more weight into my heels. So what this is going to do is going to give me actually a greater range of motion. So here's what I was doing before. I was leaning everything forward. This time, I'm going to send the hips back, pull the abdominal muscles in. And if you notice, my toes are lifting already because there's so much weight back here. And then I can very easily hinge down. Really great stretch here for the glutes and the hamstrings. Toes super light and lots of range of motion. I can come and touch the floor and then come on up. Good stuff. So now you've seen both extremes. You've seen the weight in the front leaning this way, weight in the back. I'm not leaning so far back. It's more the hips that go back. I'm going to try and find somewhere in the middle, somewhere in that middle position. Remember the triad of the foot. And if you didn't see last week's video, then go back and watch it. You'll see that triangle of the foot, which is the part of the knuckle of the big toe, little toe, and then the heel. That forms that triangle. So now I'm going to try and put equal weight into that triangle as I come forward. I touch the floor, full control as I come up. Now you got to practice this a little bit in order to get this concept. I feel like I have equal weight into my feet. I'm controlling the movement up and down. I can do this slow, I can do it fast. Whatever works, I can do. Good stuff. One more. Then come on up. And we'll take a quick little break. Okay, watch the next one. Now we're going to move through the pelvis. This is an anterior forward and posterior pelvic tilt. This is another one of those guys that we just have to nail. We got to get as good as we can on this. It makes all the difference in the world in terms of how we shift our body weight around. Now, we do this in many positions, but we can also do it standing up. And since we're here, we're going to do it this way. So I'm going to bend the knees slightly, hands come onto your lap. I'm going to arch my back. So you see I've got that ski slope on my back there, or that ski jump on my back. Abdominal muscles here are relaxed. So what I want to do is take a big breath. And when I exhale, I'm going to pull my navel right into my spine, and it creates this movement where it flattens out the lower back and just tucks our tailbone under. Keep the abdominal muscles contracting, and then you release it on inhale. And then contract it on the exhale. So the movement is taking about 4 to 5 seconds long. This is a great way to work your core muscles. And very little weight into the hands here. So you're not dumping anything, right? No weight dumping, just a little bit of positioning here. That's all. We'll do a few more. Remember, 4 or 5 seconds, match it with your breath. And one last one. Okay, good stuff. All right, great job, everyone. Back to standing position. Take your legs just a little bit wider, feet apart, and then turn the feet out slightly. Let's bring the arms to the side. Rock your body weight side to side. Again, we're going to go back to this rocking motion as we move into the pelvic space. So rock side to side. Now roll off your feet. Come back onto your feet, but lift your heels, lower, and then lift your toes. And you're finding the pressure points in your feet are where you would like to put the weight. Good stuff. Now back to neutral. So I'm back into flat feet. Good surface control here. Go side to side, back to side to side. So now moving just through the ankle. Good job, everyone. And now you're going to do some circles. You can lean a little, bend the knees a little, but try and make most of the action happen right from the hip space. So this is essentially your pelvis rolling around the top of the femur bones. And then all that connective tissue, it will either allow it to happen or not, or little or a lot. Everyone's all over the place on this one. So let's just go nice and slow. Big muscle groups and bones here, creating this big movement. Simple movement, we think, right? But it's not. It's actually quite complicated. Lots happening here. A lot of different muscle groups need to kick in. And typically what happens is the glutes don't fire very well. So this will allow us to get that action happening. And then other direction, please. So let's go big sweeping circle in the other direction. I'm going to work a little bit on body planes today, some rotation. Just show you some different ways that our bodies can move. We already did one, the frontal plane. Okay, and then again, back to that neutral position. Okay, we're going to get into our toes a little bit as well. Some mobility for the foot and ankle space. You're going to lift the right heel up, curl your toes under just to get a little crunchy crunch on your toes, like cracking your knuckles on your hand. If you're new to this, then just be very cautious and don't put too much pressure into it. Like a 2 out of 10 is usually enough for most people, maybe even a 3 if you can manage it, and then lift and then smooth the foot around a bit, and then let's do the other side. A little crunch on this side. Good. And again, one more time over here. And one more time over here. Okay, now you're going to take your legs a little bit wider. Let's take the arms out. You're going to make a couple of fists. I'm going to lift the arms up just a little bit higher and start to get into a squatting position and then lift up. So let's just do a couple slow. Up and down. And let's try and get a little bit deeper now. Hold here. Come on up. Come on down. Hold. Maybe lift the arms a little bit higher. And then come on up. Okay, good stuff. Bring the legs back a little bit closer together. We're going to roll through this hip space a bit. Lift the right heel. Take the toes over. Again, crunch them under a little bit. Now roll to the outside of the right foot, to the back, and then to the inside. So I'm doing this rotation of the foot in this circular movement. Okay, a couple more. Do it slowly, slowly, slowly. And again, back to center. This time I go in, back, and around in this other direction. Okay, other direction, nice and slow. And then we go to the other side. So I shift weight, lift the heel, get the toes under, go to the outside, go to the back, and then the inside, and then roll it all around. Good stuff. Okay, we'll do a few this way. And nice and slow. One last one. And then I go to the other way. In, to back, to out, into back and out. Let's move two more. And one more. Nice movements. Okay, really good. All right, we're going to stretch out a little bit more also to figure out again some of the weight placement into the feet. We're going to just stay here for now. Lift the arms straight up, interlace your fingers and press the palms out and lift the arms straight up. Okay, now look up, take a nice big breath and tip your body a little bit way to the right side. Just go a bit to the right. Look up. Put a little bit more weight into your left foot here. So press your weight foot a bit more firmly into the floor as you come back to center. Go the other way. More weight into the right foot this time. I'm leaning to the left, putting more grounding weight into the right foot. Back through center, take a breath and now lean forward. And press the palms down. And then come on up. Okay. Now we're just going to switch that up a little bit by crossing one leg over the right. So I'm going to take the right leg, put it across the left. Toes face forward, interlace your fingers, lift the arms up. Look up, take a nice big breath, tip your body weight to the right side. Again, manage the weight into your feet equally as best as you can, okay? So look up, press the hands to the ceiling as you get straight arms here, tipping over to one side, and then you're going to go to the other side. This is that lateral body plane where we just go from tipping side to side. Back through center and then release and switch the legs the other way. Lock your thighs together. Feet face forward. Interlace hands just the opposite kind of way with your fingers. Press the palms out, lift up, and then tip to the left to start. Back to center. And we're going to tip it off to the right side. Now bring it back through center, and this time lean forward with legs crossed. It should be a nice stretch. And up through center. Okay, good stuff, you guys. Have a little sip of water. Quick break. All right, we'll do various yoga poses today that I think are pretty appropriate for all this really interesting body movement that we're doing. To start off with, let's just get onto the floor. You're going to take your knees wide apart and bring your toes to touch behind you. Take the knees wide and then send your hips back. So I'm just going to try and sit back as far as I can go. I have compression issues on this knee so that I can't get all the way down. So don't use me as your model. If you can take your butt all the way back, please do so. I can't quite do that, unfortunately. So I'm just going to hold here for a moment. Try and get the legs a little bit wider, and it takes me a little bit to just sit back here as the knee is super, super tight. And I'm going to extend the arms forward and drop the chest down. See if you can go all the way down to bring your forehead down as well. The elbows can rest onto the floor now. So a great way to start into some shoulder mobility work. The hips are open as well in this position. So this is a child's pose position in yoga. And also one of the best and greatest ways for us to breathe. So you want to breathe in fairly deeply here. When your abdominal area distends, you'll feel that against your thighs. Breathe in and breathe out. Nice job. Stay with nice deep breathing for a little bit as we just settle into this position. Extend the fingers forward, pull your hips back. You feel a nice stretch through your side of your body, maybe even your lower back a little bit. And we'll inhale and come on up. Good stuff. And get more into a tabletop position. So I bring in the knees just slightly and then take the feet out, so more tabletop-like position. And I'm just going to do some slow circles in this one direction. And do it nice and slow. We work through the shoulders and wrists here. And we'll slow it down. Let's go in the other direction, please. So we go in the other direction now. Good stuff. And then back through center. Excuse me. Take the hands just out to the side. So the hands are off to the side. Your thumbs are facing forward. And then the wrists underneath the shoulders again. And back to some slow, wide circle. Supporting body weight as you move through. Slow it down, and let's go the other direction. Okay, and then back to that neutral position. Okay, take the fingers back to face forward. You're going to lift the right leg, right knee lifts off the floor. We're going to do some circles with the right leg. I'm going to take the leg out to the side, back, forward, and again, back to the side. Right leg only. Isolate the movement. Think about doing a circle with your knee. And then go the other direction. Back, out, in. Back, out, and in. And stop. And we do the other side. Out, back, and forward. Ideally, you want to do about 10. Okay, and then we go in the other direction. So I go back, out, in, and back, out, and in about 10 times, 8 to 10 times. Should feel the butt burning a little bit here as the glute muscles engage. And one last one for me. Whew, okay, good stuff. Let's get a little bit of a stretch of the quads. We're going to stretch the top of your legs. You're going to sit back a little bit, point your toes here, and sit back. The hands can come back behind you. You can hold on to your heels if you like, or hands onto the floor. So for me, it's really quite tight because of my knee. I can't go back too far. And this is a pretty comfy space for me to get a good quad stretch. Look up. And then come forward. Hands down. Lift your feet off the floor and rotate your feet. Move into the ankles now, both directions. Good stuff. And then bring the feet down. Okay, I'm gonna create a bit of a just distance here between my knees and my hands. So go a little bit wider in this direction. And then press your hips forward. Roll your shoulders back and look up. So there should be no dumping. Whoops. Sorry guys, my AirPods again. There should be no dumping into the lower back. So keep those abs on. Stretch it out and then sit back. But this time, keep the elbows off the floor. Sit back, reach, exhale, sit deep, deep, deep as you reach forward. Then inhale with control, come on up, press your hips forward, pelvis forward here, and tight on the belly. Pardon me. And hold, squeeze your bum. Come on back again, sit all the way back, keep the elbows off the floor. And this time we're going to do a modified push-up. Come forward. You can keep your feet the way they are or cross one over the other. Bend at the elbows, come all the way down to the floor. Then press, go back up, sit back, and come forward. Tuck those elbows close to your body if you can. Half speed movement. Again, ideally about 8 to 10. I'm trying to just do it as slow as I can. Nice slow controlled movements. A few more. You don't have to do 8, but do about 4 or 5 for sure. All right, I think I'm good for one more. Here we go, one last one. And come on back up. Good stuff. And take a quick break. All right, nice job, you guys. Quick break, everyone. Okay, good stuff. We're going to move into the shoulder now a little bit more. From, excuse me, from this tabletop position. Let's do it this way. We'll start off here. Okay, tabletop position. You're going to bend the right elbow and cup the ear on the right side. So just the fingertips lightly on the side of your head. And actually, before you do that, let's take the left hand, bring it right underneath your nose. So just move it over to the right a little bit. And then you're going to cup the ear and then turn and roll out and look up. And then come down and tap the elbow onto the floor. And then you're going to repeat, open, turn your rib cage as you turn the arm up. And then you come down, a little tap. And then you turn, look up, keep the rotation moving. This is a great way to separate the upper body from the lower. I'll do one more. Up, open up, this time extend that right arm straight up. And then come on back down to neutral. Okay, take the right hand this time, underneath your nose, cup the left ear. And we'll do the same thing. Now again, ideally 8 to 10 times. If we nail 5, that's pretty good too. Notice the range of motion. Tap that elbow when you come forward, by the way, don't forget. Then you come up again. Observe range of motion, left and right side. We have 2 more. Here's my last one. Rotation, extend the arms straight up. And then again, back to neutral position. Okay, good stuff. We're going to come down onto our belly. So lie down onto your tummy. And then from this position, I'm going to roll onto my, point your toes, right arm off to the side, roll your body onto that right side. And keep that left hand there in front of you so you can support your body weight. Your head can rest onto the floor or keep lifted, whatever suits you best. As we move into the shoulder. Maybe even look up at the ceiling onto the left side. Come back to center and go to the other side. So you'll do the left side. Left arm out. Turn your body over to that side. And let's stretch out the shoulder and arm here. Okay, and back to that middle position. Okay, good stuff. This time, just bring the hands out to the sides with the elbows on top. With a slight pressure into the hands, I'm going to lift my ribcage off the floor and chest lifts. Now, when I lower down, I'm going to press the right shoulder forward and stretch that out. Look up to the left side of the ceiling, or the left side of the shoulder, look up that way, and then drop the right shoulder forward. Come back to the middle, and this time when you lower, the left shoulder goes forward and you'll look up to the ceiling in the other direction. So one more up, forward, right shoulder. We'll repeat a couple times. Nice big stretch here. These are awkward movements that we're just getting into some deeper ranges of motion. So we want to really tap into some awkward movements for sure. And come on up, everyone. And we'll do it one more time here. Okay, good stuff. Now we're going to get into some thoracic rotation. So what I'm going to do is come on to my left side, bend your knees. And in fact, I think what I'll do here is I'm going to send the right leg even further past my body, take the left arm off to the side, and then bring the right arm on top of it. Now you're going to keep your left shoulder down and keep the inside of your right foot pressing down into the floor. And then you're going to inhale and open up, look at the ceiling, try to create as much of a rotation as you can without that right leg lifting. Okay, so you rotate, open up, keep your left shoulder down, and then come back to neutral and repeat. Repeat, nice and slow, open it up. So we're going to do this a few times with a controlled movement. And when you're lifting your arm up, in your mind's eye, your shoulder blades are coming together at the back. Crunch a walnut between your shoulder blades, and then when you take your arm forward, it's like releasing that walnut. I'll do one more. This time, though, I'm going to stay here. So I'm going to create as much of a rotation as I can. Keep the inside of the right foot pressing into the floor, the outside of the left foot pressing into the floor, and the left hand and arm down to the floor. All of them push down. And as I allow for this rotation to happen, close your eyes. And you're going to come back. This time you're going to bend that right leg, grab the leg, lower the knee, and draw the leg back. Keep the left arm down. Then you're rotating your rib cage a little bit and pull the right leg back. Left knee stays down. If that left knee is lifted, press it back down. Relax the leg. Good stuff. Come back to neutral position. And let's make our way on to the other side. Okay, so you scooch, go this way, Bend your knees at first, then extend the left leg forward, right arm, left arm. And then from this position, I keep the left foot pressing down, the right hand pressing down, and then I open up. Look up and create this rotation on the side. Again, try to bring the shoulder blades together behind your back and come back to neutral. Close it up. But like opening a clam. Yeah, but ideally about 8 to 10 times. We'll probably do 5 or 6, whatever feels good here. I'm just getting a nice stretch every time I go. So deliberately doing it very slow. So I just feel. Okay, let's just all do 2 more and then we'll hold it there. Okay, so it's here. I'm gonna do 1 more. Open, 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 and here I am. Okay, left foot pushing down. The inside of the right foot pushes down, the right knee is down, right arm is down, and then I let this left side just fall open. So my right side is actually quite active in this rotation. It's keeping me grounded. You're breathing. You can close your eyes if you like. Almost there. All right, now we're going to come back, and this time bend the left knee, grab the lower leg, lower the leg down, and then draw it behind you. Again, you can keep your head upright if you like, or put the head down, whatever works. Because it creates more muscle strength when I'm supporting my head. Right knee down, right arm down, stretch it out. And good stuff, and release, let it go. And then we're going to come up into a seated position. And a couple of movements left, and then we'll be wrapping up. The first one is really good for IT bands. Right here is where we're going to feel this. What you're going to do is let's take the right leg in front of the left. Okay, so all I've done is just crossed legs. Just crossed legs. Feet are off to the side. Now, with both knees touching down, I'm going to try and sit back and keep the knees down at the same time. It's not going to happen for me. My body type just does not work that way. So as I sit back, though, I'm going to bring the chest down a bit, reach the arms forward, and I can feel a really strong stretch outside of both hips here, if that's where you're trying to feel it. Make sure your thighs are locked together. Reach your arms forward, and then sit back while you're trying to keep your knees down. Flex both feet. So the feet are actively flexed. They're not pointed. They're flexing. Keep drawing your hips back. As you reach your arms forward, you should dig into a fairly decent stretch here. For the IT bands, they don't stretch much. They are more tendon-like in their nature, not muscles. So they require a more intense body position and longer hold. Once you're there, you close your eyes and breathe. Hold the tension level below 5 out of 10. So don't exceed that. No ouchie, ouchie here, just a really nice stretch. And you'll notice after a while, your body will just relax. When I go into this, I'm very tense. Like I'm protecting, my brain is protecting my knees and hips and everything else until it finds itself into a safety zone. And then I feel everything just start to relax, and I can just sink deep into it and really feel a decent stretch here. Very, very good for our big gluteus muscles as well. And there's no Speedy Gonzalez on this one. For those of you who know Speedy Gonzalez is, Brendan, you're too young. Nice and slow, no speed, slow speed, if you will. Okay, now I'm slowly going to just shift my weight forward. We've been here for about, maybe 60 seconds, maybe a bit more. So these are good for about 2 to 3 minutes actually to hold those. Come on up. Cross your legs the other way. Lock your thighs together, just like you're holding your pee. Tight, 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 tight. Hold, 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 hold. Get those feet off to the side. Flex the feet. Keep the knees down as much as you can. Mine lift immediately, and that's okay. I'm just going for more of the sensation. And this will typically tackle one side a bit more than the other, and depending on your body type, you may find that as well. So I'm going deep now into this space, legs crossed. Most people are tight through their hips and through their glutes and all through that big muscle groups. This is a great way to just loosen this stuff up. And then when you're trying to execute a swing, shifting body weight works really well when things are much more open. This is one of the best things actually you can even do before you go out onto the range. Get some of those other exercises that you've seen. They're good. Lower back stuff is good. Remember when we crossed the legs when we were standing and then leaned forward? That one's a good one. And this one is a really good one. This also targets the lower back. So the more you lean forward here or reach forward and pull your hips back, the more the back gets engaged. Okay, and then slightly forward. Let that pressure come out and off. Do a couple of circles here. Let's just move all that blood flow around. Super important. Should feel pretty good here. And then we'll go in the other direction. And then we'll come on up. All right, gang, that's it. We are done. Great job, everybody. That's it for the day. Lots of hip mobility stuff, good shoulder stuff as well, and core control. All right, gang, that's it.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, Lou. That was great.
My pleasure. Enjoy, everyone. We'll see you next time.
Yeah. Have a great week, everybody.
Movement. See you guys.
Thanks.
Awesome, Lou. Brandon. Awesome.
Great. Have a good one.